Good night. There's lots going on around here, man. So, first thing, I have a gift to present to Cornbread. Oh, no. First thing. Wow. Our studio designer, Courtney, from Perfect Design Co., wanted me to tell all of you that are listening today that all of the stuff for the new studio is arriving over the course of the next 3 days, and that we do understand that for some of you OCD people, there might be a little echo in the room. Okay?
Shouldn't be now. Shouldn't be now.
What you can't see is behind me, we have built a wall of boxes from the dungeon.
The warehouse.
And it hasn't really helped a lot, but maybe it helped a little bit.
Well, how do we know?
Yeah, we don't know. Anyways, look, what you see right now is not the finished product. You guys wait till next week and you're going to see something spectacular, all right? What's going on back here? Okay? Is everything good back here? Okay. So, studio is up and coming. I do have a gift for Cornbread. Cornbread, this is your Christmas gift. Actually, Aunt Brooke got this for you. There you go. Take a gander at that. That's from all the way back to your
Well, show it
roots,
to the camera.
man.
Well, I got to look at it first, Chili.
Your roots right there.
Oh.
Dang, son.
Coin is an old school Pentecostal
Snake handler.
Hymns, dance, gospel, glory, praise.
Who's Jim Barnes?
Oh, you just have to get into it to know that, Chili.
Yeah, you got to be a Pentecostal to know who Jim Barnes is.
Yeah.
Okay. See, he signed off on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's from Aunt B.
Thank you, Brooke.
And then maybe you've noticed this guy sitting beside Cornbread is not Blake Wright. Blake Wright, actually, he has problems with his neck. He has to go do physical therapy stuff with his neck all the time. So we have Blake Alvey on the podcast today. I think you guys are going to enjoy hearing from Blake Alvey a lot more than you enjoy hearing from Blake Wright. So you're welcome. Blake, welcome to this is the first guest that we've had in this space.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Not even ready.
The first guest we've had in the new space that's not ready, but it is still the new space.
Yeah.
Welcome, Blake.
We'll
talk to you guys. We'll tell you guys about who Blake is and why we wanted him to come on the show here in just a little bit. He's a remarkable athlete, and he's been doing some pretty amazing stuff as part of the 3 of 7 community, and also just as a member of the local community here in Rome. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today, man, and going through some stuff. Before we start, again, if you're here listening to the episode, there's a few reasons why we're able to do this. The first reason that we're able to do this is because of our Patreon members who support this show and support us here at 3 of 7 Project month after month, week after week, all right? So thank you, Patreon, for making this show possible and for giving us the ability to build out this new space and hopefully improve the show for everyone who listens. So the second reason why we're able to do this is because of our partners who come alongside us here at 3 of 7 Project and contribute to the mission and to the podcast and everything that we do. One of our partners is Barbell Apparel, all right? And they are bringing you the show today. So Barbell actually sent over a gift for you today, Blake. I don't know if he's received it or not. Has he received it yet or not? It's in your Gmail.
Okay.
Have you checked your email this morning?
I just turned my phone off.
Okay. Our partner at Barbell Apparel has sent you a $500 gift card.
Oh, wow.
This morning. It'll be in your inbox by the time this podcast is over. And that's them saying thank you for being a part of the show, man. And
Thank you. I appreciate that.
They're awesome. They're awesome partners, dude. And so Chili's got the new hoodie on today. I highly recommend that hoodie.
It's the last day of this hoodie sale they got going.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what I'm not real good at this, but that's what I want to let you know so you could say
You
it.
are good at this, Bubba.
Say this is the last day of the hoodie sale.
This is the last day of the hoodie sale. And that's a really nice hoodie, actually.
agree, yeah.
It's a really nice, thick, heavyweight, comfortable hoodie. Barbell Apparel has fitness apparel, everyday apparel, range pants, jeans, running shorts, gym shorts, all sorts of different types of fabrics for the t-shirts, both long sleeve, short sleeve. They have a UV resistant shirt now that's out. So if you guys are looking to kind of upgrade your wardrobe, check out Barbell Apparel. It's really a one-stop shop for everything that you're going to need, and they stand behind their products, and they have been amazing partners with us here at 307 Project. We hope that means something to you guys. So this episode, again, brought to you by Barbell Apparel. Check them out at barbellapparel.com. All right, sweet. CB!
What's up, brother?
Chill, man.
Howdy.
There's a lot that I want to talk about today, man. I heard Blake told me yesterday that you were attending seminary. Blake?
Yes. Yeah. So I've been
What's up with that, man?
a little over a year now.
Wow.
Talk to me about that, dude. What prompted that?
So I'm still a fairly new believer, you could say. So it's probably been just over 3 years.
Okay,
since
well,
I
what
came to know
happened?
Christ.
How old are you?
So I'm 34 now.
So at 31,
31.
what on earth happened?
So for a long time, I was fortunate enough, and God was good enough to me to let me chase the world for probably 8 or 9 years before I came to Christ. So that was just business and money and, all the things that we chase in the world.
Well, it started with Marine Corps, right?
Yep. So as a young guy, so I grew up, and our house it wasn't perfect by any means. So the Marine Corps was the best option for myself and my brother. So I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. That was on kind of a whim too. Met a recruiter one week. No intention to join the Marine Corps. I was like, this is not happening. Went out there, ran a mock PFT, just competing with the guys. And a buddy of mine, Jason Hamilton, who was on the show, his brother, he was going in. So the recruiter called me a couple days later and said, hey, just come by and join the pulley program, and we'll see in a few months if you want to go. I said, sure. So go in, sign up. A day or so later, he calls me and says, hey, is there any chance you'd want to leave tomorrow to go to Paris Island? And I was like, man, I hadn't even told my parents I was going to join the Marine Corps. And he said, well, I can get you a $10,000 bonus if you can go. I said, I'll see you in the morning. And that was kind of how it really happened. It just...
That was a lot of money to you, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah.
That was big. So, yeah, so we did that, went off. I did that for right at 4 years. And about 3 years in is when I met my wife now. I was home on leave. And she kind of played a big part in me staying in or getting out.
What did you do in the Marine Corps?
So I was 0621, so I carried a radio around most of the time.
Okay.
I was just a radio guy.
You comms guy.
Yeah.
That's a hard job, man. That's an aggravating job.
Yeah, it was fun.
Did you enjoy your time in the Marine Corps?
I loved it. I was really good at it. I dove in head first, man. I was going at all of it. Like when I get into something, I was kind of telling Chili this on the rock course. I just go all, I don't dabble at all. I just kind of go all the way in it. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of got me to where I am right now. But yeah, I was, from the moment I got to the fleet, the day we got there, we ran a CFT. I smoked it. So Colonel Kaufman at the time was our CO. He came down, met me, introduced me to everybody, and he gave me a couple of days off for running such a time. Well, I was a new Marine to the fleet. I was terrified to even leave my room. So I just sat in my room for like 2 days. I didn't know what to do. But from that point on, I was always on his hip. So like I was his guy. So if he needed a comm guy or anything, like he pushed me and molded me and shaped me through the years. You know, if there was a Marine of the Quarter board, he put me on it. If there was a course to go to, he pushed me into it. So I picked up sergeant meritoriously as well as a few other ranks right when I turned 20. So it was about 3 years in when I got promoted to sergeant. And then when I decided to get out, I think a lot of those guys were not happy.
Sergeant E5?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've never talked to you about your career in the Marine Corps. And so it's interesting to hear that you were that invested and you were crushing it. You obviously loved it because you wouldn't be doing that well at everything, you know, that they're sending you to go and learn. And why did you choose to get out?
Yeah, so it wasn't an easy decision. I mean, that was the first really family that I'd really had, because my parents split up when I was a year old. So I grew up in a broken home and moving a lot, depending on like who my mom was dating at the time and things like that. I mean, there's a whole testimony out there for that, but this was like the first sense of, you know, unity and family that I had. And there was only about 8 guys in my unit, so we were all pretty close. But when I met my wife, we talked for about a year or so, long distance. And she's from here, born and raised here. Family's been here 100 years. And just as I got to know her, I knew how important it was for her to be here. So to ask her to come with me was a big ask. And I never asked her, and she'll tell you now that if I would have, she would have went. And I mean, I wholeheartedly believe that. But my intention for if I re-upped was to go to the drill field. And I knew that wasn't a place to start a family. And I just wasn't that naive. I'd seen it. I'd heard about it.
What is that? What's the drill field?
I intended to go back to Parris Island and be a drill instructor. Okay. That would have been my request when I re-enlisted. That's just what I wanted to do. Because again, I like training Marines. I liked running around. You know, I was that high energy person. That's what I enjoyed doing.
It's the coolest branch of the military.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
The Marine Corps is the coolest branch of the military. That's the first recruiter I ever talked to was a Marine Corps recruiter. Yeah. That's what I believe, especially in this area, all young men who play Army and play, you know, with their little plastic soldiers and GI Joes. It's like, that's what I always thought. The Marine Corps, you know, a Marine, that was the highest standard that we could comprehend to aspire towards, you know. Right. It is awesome. So you met her. You knew it was important for her.
So we talked about it, and we just had to have a really serious conversation. I said, look, if we're going to do this, I'm going to get out while I'm young enough to do something else. I'm not going to do 8 and then get out. I'm either going to get out now while I'm young and can start a career, or we're going to make this a 20-plus deal. So after we talked about it, I just made the decision that I was going to get out. At that same time, my mom was going through a lot of stuff, and there were a lot of things pulling me back here. So, I mean, there's times where I think about, you know, if I would have stayed, and, you know, I'm not saying I regret getting out, but, you know, I think that could have panned out. It could have panned out in a cool way, but obviously that just wasn't God's plan for my life. So I'm okay with that also. Yeah.
So did you guys get married, and then you had like a year left on your contract, or?
So we just talked, or you call it dated. We were long distance. We were just getting to know each other. Because she had only dated one other person before she met me. So we took this really slow, and we just communicated. We kind of just became friends over a year or so. And then when we got more serious, I decided to get out, came home, and we dated for a couple more years until we got engaged. So we've been married now. It'll be 10 years this May. Okay. So we've been on each other about 15 years, 14 years.
Okay. When you left the Marine Corps, and did you come straight back here to Rome?
Yeah, and drove straight back here in a box truck from California.
Man.
Yeah.
How was that, man? Like, was that a real struggle for you?
I hated it.
You hated it.
Yeah. I got here, and I saved enough money when I was in. Well, I mean, as you know, the first time I started getting paid big on deployment or something, I blew it all. But as I got a little older and had some decent mentorship, I saved a little bit. So when I got home, I didn't really have to do anything. So I kind of sat around for a couple months and just thought about how much I just hated it, you know, because nobody was walking like me or talking like me. Yeah. it's different.
Well, also you talked about, I mean, we obviously didn't dig into really how how difficult your childhood years were.
Yeah.
I've heard just a little bit. Blake shared with me some parts of your story that, you've shared with him.
Yeah.
And, I just wonder, like, leaving this place, you grew up around here, and you have there are a lot of bad memories probably of this place, like, and then leaving it and then coming back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first left, I had no intention of coming back.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people do that in a town like Rome. You want to leave, and a lot of people end up coming back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessarily the place. It's what you make of it and the people that you surround yourself with in that place.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make the worst of Rome, or you can make the best of it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
So you hated it. Like, how did that work out? I mean, how did you obviously you overcame that because you're crushing life now. And
my great uncle was the sheriff at the time down in Paulding County. So when I got out, I was talking to him like, what can I find that's similar to what I just left? Is it the sheriff's department? Is it being a cop? When I first got home, I went and worked at Lowe's, just running like the outside distribution stuff.
Dude, no wonder why you hated it.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Go from the Marine Corps to Lowe's?
Yeah. Totem pole.
The hard shift right there, dude.
Yeah. So I would do that, and then when I would leave Lowe's, I would go put in like heating and air units with my granddad. And I've met a guy at Lowe's that did swimming pool liners. So I would do those three things, just, trying to make money. We were young, just getting by. But after that, I finally got on the fire department. I had to wait a year because I just missed the hiring process because I got out in October and they had just hired for the starting of the next year. So the Lowe's thing was just kind of a holdover until.
Gotcha.
So I was just kind of doing something. I already knew the fire department was my plan. Then I went and got hired on there. Here in Rome, it was good. I worked there about 3 years or so. And I loved it too. I didn't like the medical calls, and I despise snakes. So anytime we get a snake call, it's like, man, I'm not about this. Like if somebody's burning or the house is on fire, I'm going in, but I'm not a snake wrangler. So, but ultimately I got out of that because I was chasing the world. Mm-hmm. I found something I enjoyed doing again, and I gave it up for money, basically. Mm-hmm. That's what I did.
Yeah. Well, I want to get into before we dig into talking about the Ruck Challenge and ultra running and all that stuff. I do want to hear what we would call your testimony, right? Just like I kind of asked that question a little while ago, and then we kept backing up. But what happened at age 31? You're out, you said you're chasing the world. I know you got into entrepreneurship. You've done some really good stuff in business. I'm sure you were making good money.
Yeah.
And rocking and rolling. So not that you're not still doing that, but like.
Yeah, it's different now.
Yeah. What change shifted your focus, and how did you end up coming to Christ?
I'll say this and I'll kind of go back and bring it back around, but ultimately somebody finally just shared the gospel with me. That's really what it took. Up until that, no one had ever done that. I'd been to like some of the church services boot camp, but that was just to get away from the drill instructors for an hour. No one had ever been intentional about, just put me on the spot and saying, look, this is the gospel. You can either accept it or this is your fate, your fate. So that's ultimately what did it. But what brought me to that was when I left the fire department, I went to working at the company here in Rome that rents the buses and vans, Automax. So I went and ran it, and I would go and open stores for them, and it's a family business too. So there's a lot of dynamics there, but I worked there for about 8 or 9 years. But about 3 years ago, that's all I was doing, man. Like day and night, I was just chasing that, just money and money and money. And I didn't care about anything else. And it was just building status and just, I was chasing the world. And I finally got all the things that I thought I wanted. I had the house, I had the property, I had the cars, I had the toys. I mean, on the outside, looking at my life, you'd have thought, man, this guy's killing it, because that's how it looked to most people. And I think I I would tell you that I hid it pretty well. My pastor now would tell you that I did not do such a good job of hiding it. I feel like he could see it or see through me. But that's what it came to. Like I had all this stuff, but I was miserable. It was miserable. At this time, we had our first child. Me and my wife are great. Our daughter's, she's perfect, man. Me and my wife, we've never even really had like a big fight. Like we don't argue. Like our personalities are just different enough to where we just don't. I mean, she's like perfect for me. So it wasn't even that. It was just something internally in me I was just unhappy, man. I'd wake up and I was just like, just didn't have the drive to do anything. I was just shallow and empty. So I started dabbling in the Bible on my own. I would just read a little bit here or there. And I started listening to some gospel music at the gym. And something, man, was just like, tell me that's what I need to do. And I was hiding it from my wife at this time because I'd always given her a hard time about going to church. Like she dragged me there twice a year. And by the time we left, I was telling her just how much I despised it. Like I hated it. I mean, we wouldn't be up the road and I was like, we're wasting our time. Yeah. Could have been doing this and just eat up 2 hours of my day. Like,
if you're an unbeliever and you're attending a church service,
no.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Because it's rough sometimes when you're a believer and you're attending a church service.
Yeah. I did not like it. Now, she's been a believer most of her life. She grew up around a lot of believers. Her grandparents are charter members at our church. They've been there 70 years. You know, her parents have been married and together 40 something years. Like she's grown up around structure, you know, faithfulness. I mean, she's got it. So to her, that's just the way you live life, you know. But to me, that was all new. Like I was figuring this whole like commitment thing out to my wife, having kids, like what family looked like, choosing them over me, because I just always had to fend for myself growing up. I didn't have to worry about anybody else. But I keep on dabbling into it, and I just feel like, and you know, when you're in the Word, you can see God working in your life easier when you're in the Word. You recognize, you know, God moving because you're not ignorant to it anymore. Mm-hmm. So there was just something pulling at me, and we go to a church service, and same thing. I didn't really want to be there still, but I was listening that day, and it really it hit me. We go to the next one, and it just I had like an emotional response to it. You know, I don't know, call it what you want. Maybe it was the music or whatever, but it just struck me the right way to where I was like, man, something's not right. And I'd been feeling that for a while. Well, the next couple of days I'm in my office, and I'm thinking about just going up there and talking to the pastor, because I'd been studying on my own. I still don't know what the next step is or like what I'm doing. You know, I don't know anything about how you get saved or what that looks like. This is all new to me. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go up and talk to him and say, look, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I just feel like we need to talk. But I put it off because I don't want to do it. So I put it off that morning. I go back to the break room, and I finally convinced myself I'm going to go see him. So I grab my keys, and when I come around the corner, Pastor Chris walks around the corner at my office. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I'm here to see you. And it was right then I knew. I was like, okay.
So you were going to see him, and he
showed
did,
up.
and then he just happens to show up while you're on your way to see him. That's right. All right. That's odd.
Yeah, it was wild. A lot of things happened that morning. Like I saw our youth pastor at Chick-fil-A, which is not a surprise if you know him. He's there all the time. And then I saw the pastor's wife on Broad Street when I was driving. So a lot of things that day built up to him showing up in that moment. So all these little signs I felt like were go see him, go see him, go see him. And I was putting it off, but it wasn't until I finally decided to surrender to that and go do it that he literally showed up at my doorstep. So
what was that conversation like?
So I've got it in my office at home. I've got it framed. It's he just took a notebook, piece of paper out, and it was a very simple way to explain the gospel, man. He was like, look, this is you. You're a sinner, and there's no way around it. You're wicked. That's just people, right? And he said, and he drew a line, he wrote God up here. And he said, but, if your relationship with Christ is going to cover you. So when God looks at you, he's not going to see you. He's going to see his son. And that's kind of how he laid the gospel out to me in a way that I could understand. It was simple. And I was like, okay, well, when God looks at me, I don't want him to see me because I'm terrible, right? So obviously I need this relationship with Christ as like a blanket over my life. And it was right then that I, accepted and started my relationship with Christ. And I mean, from that moment, it was like, it lit a fire in me. It was wild.
Yeah, praise the Lord for that, man. After that happened, like, what changed about your life? I mean, were you? I'm always interested to hear, as part of your testimony, like, were you able to understand the scriptures better? Did you look at your wife differently? Did your marriage change? And was that gradual, or did that stuff happen quickly? Yeah,
so there were a few things that I think happened quickly, just like my perspective on life. A big thing for me was like my patience. So like I could get frustrated with something easy, man. Like right after I got saved, it was like a week later, I was trying to take a car seat out of a car. That you'll learn soon. Those little things, it wasn't clicking right. I couldn't get it out, and I was ready to rip it out and throw it across the yard. But I was like, you know what? Let's just take a step back. So I would say I'm a lot gentler now, a lot calmer, and it changed. Like there was a peace across my house at that point. Like now, there's just it's hard to explain really, but there's just not any kind of tension within my house or my marriage or with my kids.
Yeah, man.
I have patience with my children that wasn't there before.
I get that totally. It's a very supernatural thing. When we receive the gift of salvation and we receive the Holy Spirit in us, that the Holy Spirit of Christ is like uses us as a vessel and is being projected, to the world and to the environment. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had people walk into mine and Brooke's house, and I think Cornbread even mentioned it one time. They're just like, man, it just feels peaceful. Like it just feels peaceful in here. Like, yeah. And that's not us. That's not because we set up the environment in some certain way or that there's a master plan. It's just, man, you read in the Gospel of John where Jesus says, I and the Father, we're going to come and make our home with you. You know what I mean? That's real. Like you can take that as no, he means that. Like they do by way of the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, they make their home with you. And it does change just the, the space, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get that totally, man.
I think that the big thing that shifted for me was that I realized that ultimately none of this crap really matters. And I think once you truly believe that, the way you live your life will change. All the money doesn't matter. All the things I had doesn't matter. I know it's easy to say, but I think once you truly believe that what you're doing here outside of like your relationship with other believers and the things you're doing to, better the life of others, the material things are all they're going to wash away, man.
It's a really odd thing that for some people, they actually have to get all of those material things to realize that. That's really strange.
Yeah.
Because when you are struggling and you don't have the things that you need and want, you think those things that you need and or want are everything. And like you focus, like you said, you're trying to get them. You're doing whatever you have to do to get to that place. And then for some of us, we have to get there to realize, well, dang.
Yeah.
This, okay, it's still just life, right? And it's still not good, not the way it ought to be, not the way I imagined it would be once I got here.
I think that was the thing is I grew up without these things.
Yeah.
And then I married into a family that had these things. So I was chasing what they had built. And my mother-in-law said something to me that I'll never forget. When me and my wife first got married, she told me, she said, don't ever feel like I was working in the fire department at the time. I was making like 28 grand a year. She was like, don't ever feel like you have to give Taylor, which is my wife, what me and Ramey, her dad, can give her. Like, if she's happy and y'all are happy, that's enough. So that was big for me. Now, it didn't keep me from still chasing, what they had, but I still think about that conversation today that, now that I've made the decision not to do that anymore, they don't love me any less. They still support me. They're still proud of me because I'm taking care of their daughter and I love her. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not about, the house on the hill or the car I drive. And, I built those things because I didn't grow up having them. And I think that was just a big letdown for me once I got them. I realized this isn't what I thought it was going to be. So I think that's how it started.
Yep. Yeah, everyone's path is different. You probably would have never came to that truthful realization unless that would have been your path.
Yeah, and I'm super grateful that it didn't take some type of like super tragic event to bring me to Christ.
For sure,
because
man.
I don't know that would have done it. I mean, only God knows, what'll work for certain people, but I'm so grateful that like it wasn't a tragedy or something, because it might have sent me in the opposite direction. Yeah.
So the seminary thing, do you want to pastor? Do you want to preach, teach? Are you just doing that for your own, like a hobby, or?
Well, it started out that way. At first I was just so fired up about it, and, I couldn't get enough of the gospel. And I was like, how can I learn more, like outside of just on my own? Like, what's going to force me to, read things I wouldn't usually read, or like, who can teach me outside of the sphere I'm already in? And I'm thinking, well, I've got my GI Bill. I didn't go to school. Let's go to seminary. I'll learn there. So I could focus a little more on the theological side of things and some stuff that you don't just get from reading scripture on your own. So I started out just to learn more. And then it grew and grew into just what it is today. And I was really praying about it about a year ago. And I was like, look, I want a clear direction on like which way I need to go in my life. Because at the time I was still working at my old job, So I had a conversation with my boss at the time it wasn't the best conversation. He was kind of fired up about some things, but within that conversation was laced a comment to me. And he said to me, look, you just keep chasing that Jesus road and see where that takes you. And to me, it was like clear as day then. I was like, this is the fork in the road. He just put it out in front of me. I can either choose to stay here and do what I'm doing, or I can do exactly what he just told me. I'm going to choose the Jesus route.
Was he saying that in a negative sense?
Yeah. This was
like poking fun at you, basically.
Yeah.
You want to wind up a poor.
Yeah. It was HR nightmare, really. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But,
keep chasing Jesus. You're going to wind up a poor again.
Correct. Yeah. So that's how it led me to, that night, me and my wife talked about it and I prayed about it, and I woke up the next morning and I was just at peace about it. And this was, I was working a multi-six-figure job. I was making good money doing what I was doing. So when I walked out of it, people thought I was crazy. And I know it looked crazy, but I just, I didn't have a worry in the world about it, man. I didn't worry about how I was going to feed my family, how I was going to provide. I was at such a peace about it that I was like, this is just not God's plan for me. And I've got to commit finally. And I think that's what it was, is I needed to make a move. I was always kind of just holding on to I was trying to have both. I want to keep making good money, but I also wanted to chase Jesus, when it was convenient. Mm-hmm. So that's when I went all in, man. I was like, I'm just going to stop chasing the world, and this is what I'm going to do. And over the last 9 months, that's turned into, there's been a few opportunities to work, in some ministry fields and things. But what I'm good at is talking with men, and then I'm really good with the kids. And I think that's where my heart's at, because I was 31 when somebody finally, shared the word with me. Mm-hmm. So how can I prevent that for others, man? It's just, talking to them when they're little, make sure they understand, and why they understand what they understand, not just because that's what I was told to understand. Give them some type of apologetic side of it too. This is why you understand what it is, Yeah. And this is why you believe it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's spoiler alert. coming soon, I will be working at our church with the children's ministry. So that's in like 2 days.
Okay.
So yeah, we're excited about that.
Youth ministry.
Yeah,
That sounds rough as
children,
a cob.
K-5, man, children. They're
That sounds rough as a cob,
Yeah.
dude.
That's not your
Yeah.
path.
Man.
just get them excited, man. That's
Not
the goal.
everybody's.
Just keep them excited about it and interested in it. And
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What school are you going to?
Truett McConnell. Yeah, I do it all online. So a lot of coffee shop hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got that GI Bill too,
Go to school.
My gosh.
Thinking about using that GI Bill too. This is all. See, I'm learning here, Well, praise the Lord, brother. Thanks for sharing your testimony
Yeah.
with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the Lord uses you as you progress through that, man.
Yeah, you and me both.
Because we see each other all the time.
Yeah.
Let's get into the Ruck Challenge, dude.
You want to?
All right. The Ruck Challenge. If you guys were tuning in when this Ruck Challenge was going on, Blake and a couple other dudes, especially, who was it? Blake, Tom was always on the list.
Tom, Brandon Rager,
Brandon.
Jacob Thomas.
Yeah.
These cats were laying down.
Cass.
Cass was on there.
Yeah.
These jokers were laying down some crazy efforts during the Ruck Challenge. The Ruck Challenge was a competition that we created within the 3 of 7 project community, where each week there was a specific challenge, and everyone who had joined this Ruck Challenge group was competing with each other, and they had to log all of their info and their stats on an app online, so it was visible to everyone who was competing. All right, and each week they could accumulate a certain amount of points. And this went on for how long?
10 weeks.
For 10 weeks, all right? And then it culminated with a final challenge at Mountain Mama Farms,
Yeah.
where the top 5 Ruck Challenge competitors came together and went head to head for 8 straight hours to see who could accumulate the most amount of total distance over the span of that time. And I wasn't there that day.
Of course not.
So I'm looking forward to hearing this story, not only of what went down on that day.
Wild.
Yeah, because I didn't get to see it. But I want to go through. By the way, are we doing another Ruck Challenge?
We are. Yeah. We're going to do another one.
Do you know when?
Reigning champ coming back.
It's going to be close to the same time as last, so it'll be toward the end of summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a little while. You guys, if you're interested in doing this after you hear about it on today's show, you can go ahead and start getting your gear together and getting a few miles in here and there to be prepared for it, because this thing is brutal.
Oh, yeah. Then some of the guys that were in it last year have just continued rucking to train for the next one.
Yeah.
This thing was brutal.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to dig into this. The Cornbread, I'm going to let you take it from here because you headed this up, but I want to talk about what was happening, what, the hardest weeks that Blake had were, kind of what all that looked like, and injuries you might have had. How did you stay focused on? I mean, I have so many questions, but I'll just jump in where I can. I want to hand it over to Cornbread and Chili. They really headed this up.
No, Cornbread did.
And chili.
I'll say this. I do want to say this up front. This challenge, the people that weren't a part of it at all, which I really wasn't either. It's really the 25 people that participated. I guess everything is like this. If you didn't do it, you don't really know what went down. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do something to, if you didn't actually do it yourself, you're just speculating and talking about it. But that was nuts.
It was nuts, dude.
I mean, like, and nobody really knows what y'all did other than the 25 guys that did it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's super cool to me. No one else is going to really fully get it, but I think this will give them a picture, so it's cool.
So it was important to me when we started this to instill some of the things that you talk about and that we talk here at 307. Be patient, present, and deliberate throughout the entire challenge. So that's what my main role was, is to try to keep the guys in tune with all that. So we started out with a 1 month warm up, and that was to get everybody acclimated with the Strava app.
Yeah.
And we had set a goal of 2,500 miles for the entire team, which consist our competitors, which consisted of 24, me being one of the 24. So we did that, and the funniest thing about that is once we reached the goal, I had logged over 100-something miles. My role was also the reaper. So when I stole a position in the top 10, those points were void. No one could get those points. So their goal was also to try to keep the reaper out of the top 10 as well. Mm-hmm. So once we reached the goal, they reached the goal of the mileage for that month, you know, everyone was ecstatic and happy. And so the reaper took his miles away. It's because we need to be present on what we're doing here. Don't forget there is a reaper. And that threw some people up
I remember.
in the air.
I remember.
At what point in that month, how long did it take y'all to hit that goal of 2,500
you ended
miles?
up setting a new goal, right? And then, they blew it out. Yeah.
That was week 3.
Yeah.
We hit it they hit it relatively quick. Yeah. And the awesome thing about that month too, all the guys, no women joined, by the way. I hope to see some women join this time, but all the guys had done named themselves Ruck Team 1 and started sharing Bible verses, and we discussed Bible verses in the morning here and there. And so they was, you know, forming a team. Hey, we're going to crush this together, but yet we're still going to compete. So month 1 gets wrapped up. What did you think about the reaper stealing those miles? Did you expect that?
No, I didn't really understand what we were getting into at the moment. But
Did you guys know the challenges that were coming?
yeah. So you had the 10-week printout. So we knew what each week was going to hold, which was nice. If you didn't know, it would have been,
it'd been hard.
that would change things a lot.
Yeah.
But knowing what's coming is a big advantage.
And by the way, before I forget, that thing sold out really quick. So
it did.
When toward the middle of the summer, y'all need to be watching out for it, because
that's the only the 24, 25 spots is all we can have.
That's it.
There's a Strava restriction, right? So it's going to be the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why did you even decide to jump in on this, man?
It's a good question.
That's a big commitment.
Yeah, that I wanted to know that too, because I already knew you were scheduled to do the Jewel.
Yeah.
He did that in the middle of it.
When I seen your name, I was like, what?
Georgia Jewel's 100-mile. It's like our local 100-mile race that's been going on for quite a few years now. So
yeah. So when I started running last November, I ran like a little savage race, like a small race. And then I ran the Barry Half Marathon, and that's like the furthest I've ever ran. And then I found out about y'all's race at Sloppy Floyd. So I signed up for it, and I went out there, and I think I only ran like 28 miles. But it like humbled me to my core. I was like, what is this? And how do I get better at it? Like, because I went out there thinking like, this is going to be easy. You know, I'll run around the woods. Ain't nothing to it. And I knew nothing about nutrition. I mean, it crushed me. I was like, this is not good.
Did you run the race the year that I ran?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah. Well, no. I think you did run.
Yeah, I think so.
You were running that race.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember you passed me a few times, actually. But after that, I really fell in love with like the community, man, because I knew a lot of those people just from town, like you said. And I was like, this is a group of people that I want to be around. This is what I want to do. So when that came up, I was like, this is a way that I can run around with people that are like-minded. Because I know if they're part of y'all's community, then we all already share a similar mindset. And I had already committed to some big races that year, but I was like, why not? I've never rucked before. After I got out of the Marine Corps, it was the last time I ever humped, or, we called it humping, but I figured let's do it. So I saw it and signed up, and yeah. So why not?
So we moved on to week 1, which was the fastest 5 mile, 40-pound ruck. That was the very first event.
That's the one I tried.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
And Blake finished second that week in the standings with a average time of 8:28 per mile.
Yeah, Tom sniped me on that one. He come in.
You were on the Rock course.
Yeah, he come in while I was on the rock course and beat my previous time.
Yeah.
He had ran it early in the week. So I ran it like that Friday before the rock course thinking, all right, this is the end of the week. Nobody else is going to run it again. And I come off a 24-hour rock course to Tom blowing me out of the water. I'm like, this guy, and I wasn't about to run it again. So
Yeah, Tom had 8:14 pace that week.
So we're talking 8.5 minute mile for
unbelievable.
5 miles with a 40-pound ruck on.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
So I ran it twice. I think I ran it twice.
You did.
Yeah, I ran it the first time, and I was like, I could have ran that harder. I could have done better than that. So I ran it again later in the week, right before the rock course. But I had a buddy of mine, Porter, come out there with me, and I said, look, I just want you to be the rabbit. Run this pace, no matter how fast or slow I run. You run this pace, and I'm going to stay beside you until we're done. And that's what I did. So he ran it with me, and I just stayed on his hip the whole time.
Did you run it on a track?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I smoking mine with a 40-pound pack on.
Oh, yeah. That pounding. Week 2, elevation. Most elevation gain with 40 pounds for the entire week. Blake finished second that week as well with over 25,000 feet of elevation gain.
I remember when that week went down. I remember how much crap I was talking that week.
You was, yeah. Yeah, that's the week Brandon Rager got over 35,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you acted like you could go get that in just one day and be done.
Yeah.
That's so hard. I mean, what did you think of the elevation weeks?
It's hard for this area.
It is.
First, it's like we're not to take away from Brandon Rager because he crushed it.
Yeah.
But like his backyard was literally like up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's what I need. I did all mine on like Myrtle Hill on the stairs. I
Yeah.
climbed
Oh
the
my
stairs
gosh,
over and
dude.
over. That's all I would do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a cool addition to this challenge. I mean, we both talked about it and thought it was because it just adds a little variety. It's like, you know, it's not just straight up distance or pace. You have this other element that is easier for some people and harder for others,
Yeah.
you know, but it's like, you just got to make it work with what you got.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was interesting to see how that shook out the other times too, because Tom, you know, who was like he didn't have a great spot either. I don't think. It's so funny. He was complaining about
Cass didn't have any elevation where he lived. So he had to really put in some miles to get elevation.
Did no one think about using an elevator?
Nothing mechanical could be used. It all
Elevator.
Yeah.
You could have just put your rucksack on and went and got on an elevator.
Cheated.
I mean, you could have cheated, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, the Reaper would have disqualified you for that.
I think the Strava would have shown that though. You're over at the Hilton Hotel, up and down, up and down. I did think about a stairwell though, but I was like, well, this is just good.
Week 3 was most distance of that week with a 30-pound ruck. Now that's the week that everybody pretty much put in the most work. I mean, everybody was pretty much hyped up. Okay, now we're doing most distance in a week. They got over the elevation. The elevation was rough. Blake come in second with 202.8 miles that week.
Yeah.
With what poundage on his
30
ruck?
pounds.
30-pound ruck?
Yeah. Yeah.
How long? What was that? Like 50 something hours? Do you
It was
remember?
a long time. Yeah. It was a long time. That was my wife needs all the credit for that week because I was going a lot.
Crazy.
Yeah.
A lot. That was probably the darkest week for me, like in my house, because when Tom won that, so I think I was watching Resurrected Sunday and I was still rucking out there, and I saw Tom on Resurrected and he was still rucking, so I knew, all right, this is going to come down to the wire. But at this point, I think we were 100 miles ahead of everybody else, so it was just me and Tom going back and forth. And I had messaged Tom on the side and I'm like, look, I know that whether I come in first or you come in first, it doesn't really matter because it's only a 1 point difference at this point. I said, but just know that I expect you to push me and I'm going to do the same for you at this point. Like, it's not about,
Right.
you know, the miles. It's This is what we signed up to do.
Yeah.
So let's do it. And that's what I was doing. But I went out that night, and I told my wife I was going to go out at like 6 o'clock. I said, I'm going to go out and ruck till midnight and get as many as I can get. And she said, just wait till about 8 or so, or whenever Resurrected started, and you just go then. I said, okay. I didn't really want to do that, but I waited and hung out with the kids and stuff, which was the right thing to do, by the way. But I went out there, and once I realized that I didn't have enough time left to catch Tom, like I couldn't physically cover the miles, I just hung it up. I had like 2 hours left in the night, and I was like, it's not physically possible for me to catch him. But that tore me up, man. Like I was mad. So I was at Barron Stadium, and I think I labeled it on my Strava like the walk of shame, because that's how terrible I felt about it later. I was walking back to my house, and my wife called me. She was like, you're done? I said, yeah. I said, I don't have enough time to catch Tom, you know? And I let it slip. I said, if you would have let me go out earlier. So I put it on her, and I shouldn't have done that, man. But like, that was the worst moment of this thing. And like, I had to think about that phone call for the next 10 minutes walking home, and I had some time to think on it. I was like, what a dummy, man. That was stupid. So I get home, I walk upstairs, I go in our bedroom. I said, I'm sorry. I love you. I kissed her, and I said, I let it go too far this week, and it won't happen again. Yeah. So I said, that one's on me. It's not your fault. It's on me. I'm sorry. So that was the only time through the challenge that it really like shook my house, you know, where I had to like tone it back a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it shows how like focused you can get, and how just, which is an important skill for a man to be able to possess. It's just, you have to know how to wield it. Right. Yeah. But, not very many people can do that. Like, just get so laser focused and consumed by this thing. Not a bad trait. I respect that trait in a man, if he can learn how to temper it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like not many people can even do that, and even less can do that and not let it have negative effects.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take over other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, was this 200 something miles in a week with a ruck on like that? I mean, what did this do to your body?
It was tough, man. So I'm all about like recovery. Like in my basement, I have a cold plunge and a sauna, and like, so I take that stuff seriously. So I'm doing that every day as I'm doing this stuff, because that's just the only way that I can keep going. But yeah, like I would get up, man, I'd go out to the track at midnight, and I would ruck until about 6:30, and I would take my kids to school, and then I would go eat something, and I'd go back out there. So, I mean, I was out there, like you said, 10 hours plus a day.
When were you sleeping?
I go
get it when you can get it.
Yeah, like I'm in bed at 9 o'clock every night anyways, and I'm usually up at like 4. So that's just like my routine in normal life. So I was just sacrificing that. Like, I mean, I'd walk around the track so much, man, that like I would fall asleep walking at the track. It was so daunting. Or I would take a cooler and a chair with me to Barron Stadium and set it right there on the track. And like I would eat there. I would sit on the thing for a minute and just sleep for like 30 minutes. Like I was consumed, man.
I love crazy crap
it was like
that.
If like people would show up and I'd be laying there on the field, I'm like, they think I'm some homeless guy. But yeah, man, I was committed to it. I was going. I decided when I signed up, I actually sent a text to Jason that I talked about earlier. I screenshotted when I signed up, and I said, I've decided I'm going to win this Ruck Challenge. So I knew when I signed up that like, this is what I'm going to do. Like I was committed at that point.
Did you anticipate you were going to have competitors at this level though, that were like pushing you to this level?
I did, just because I think within y'all's following, there's a lot of athletes probably listening to this now that are way better than I am. But then once we started, I knew pretty quickly who it was that was, about week 3 or 4, I knew who was going to be at Mount Mama with me. Yeah. I knew. I said, these are going to be the guys. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wasn't expecting. I'm super grateful for Tom, because if Tom wouldn't have been in it, and this is not to take away from the rest of the guys by any means, but I think I would have like taken it super easy. I would have coasted through a lot of the weeks, because I wouldn't have had to run an extra 100 miles week 2 or 3 to beat Tom.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Tom was like the best thing that happened to me through that challenge, because we were able to push each other and go off each other. He's an old Marine too, so it was just kind of like this. It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I think Tom was 47 pilot,
Yeah.
a helicopter pilot. Yeah.
Yeah. Great dude.
Yeah, Tom finished that week with over 216 miles in that week. And that week, so on Strava, everybody got to communicate through the Strava app in a massive group chat. And I don't know if Blake remembers it, but early on in that week, some people were like, I think I got number 3 this week, and I think I got number 5. Well, you got to be patient, got to be present. So the Reaper held his miles back.
Look, now he's self-aggrandizing.
He held his miles back, and then Sunday evening at
Unloaded.
11 o'clock, I actually even messaged Cass because he was like a mile behind the Reaper's perceived miles. I said, "You're an hour behind me, Cass. You can get that. I ain't going back out." So Cass went back out. I seen his miles. So then the Reaper put all his miles up there and put him at 116 miles to knock 2 other people out of 5th place.
And that's big for you because I had told you would never ruck 100 miles in a week.
Yeah, that was
I didn't tell you couldn't. I said you wouldn't.
Yeah,
you did.
That was a personal challenge me and Chili had going on.
Dude, there's very few weeks. I mean, there's not a lot of weeks that I ever ran 100-mile weeks. Like 100-mile week is a huge week. That's not a normal thing. It's crazy though that in the context of this conversation, 100-mile week seems like a poor performance.
Yeah.
When you got 2 guys.
And it's with rucking, so it takes a lot longer.
A lot longer. Like when you got guys that are laying down 200, I don't know. Yeah, I can say for sure I have never had a 200+ mile training week, which this wasn't training. This was competition.
Yeah.
This was the game. This was the big show. But I've never had a 200-mile training week.
The thing about this was that you never really knew what somebody was going to post up. Like, you could be 50 miles ahead of somebody. I mean, there were mornings I turned in a 30-mile effort. I mean, you never knew if you were far enough away from somebody because people would just drop big efforts on you overnight. And you're like, man, I was just 20 miles ahead. Now I'm 30 behind.
Yeah, and then the guys, of course, that were in other time zones, we had to jump on them to be able to start earlier.
Yeah.
But they had, we can see Blake has posted everything he can post for tonight, and I've got 2 or 3 hours left that I could do.
Yeah. On the West Coast.
So after that week, in the group chat, though, people started saying, all right, I took way too much time doing this, way too much time away from home. I got to be more deliberate at the house. Or seeing what Blake and Tom and Jake did and saying, no, I can do a little bit more. I can do this and I can do that. So then we moved on to the most distance with the 50-pound. And when you was used to 30 and 40, that 50 feels like 100. There is a big difference between 30 and 50. Everybody posted lower numbers that week, and you might have been getting ready for the Jewel.
Yeah.
There were still 3 competitors that still had over 100 miles that week, but Blake finished that week in 5th with 81.2 miles, the 50-pound most distance.
So that was back-to-back weeks most distance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, you were running some too.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't post my runs because it would mess up. So I would just run on my own.
Yeah.
And some mornings I would do that. Like I would run a few miles before the ruck and then I'd run after some, just depending, I was trying to still fit in.
Yeah. What was that like though? I mean, was it way harder after all that rucking to run?
Yeah. It was
in the middle.
It was just different. I mean, I think ultimately me and Blake Hughes talked about it some. I think the rucking kind of bulletproofed me though a little bit for like some of the climbing and stuff at the Jewel. Yeah. So yeah, just that extra weight, man, I felt super light running.
Did it bug you to be doing the Jewel and feel like maybe you weren't preparing as, I don't know, maybe you feel like this was a really good way to train, but like it's not what I would do. You know what I mean? Like it's not bad, but it's not what I would do.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, certainly. So I did feel like this was going to like hinder me a little bit. Yeah. Because I wasn't doing the workouts I would do for the Jewel. But then again, I've never ran a race like that, so I didn't really know what to do anyways. Yeah. When I ran that race, the goal was just to finish it. I wasn't expecting.
You did well.
Yeah, I mean, it. Comparison to like the times people post, I ran it pretty slow, but on that day it was enough to pan out. But even after that race, I felt like I had a lot in the tank. I was like, man, I held back too much, because I just didn't know.
Week 5, the halfway point, was the fastest 3 miles with 60 pounds. The last 3 times I've been to the shoe store, people talk to me about
what he did,
how fast he did that 3 miles with 60 pounds. Blake finished that week number 1 at 7 minutes 11 pace.
That's so goofy, dude.
7:11 pace with a 60-pound ruck.
3 mile, and I talked to him about Spartan Smoothies, and he told me how he was going to do it. He said, "You ought to do it the way I'm going to do it, and I'll let you explain." And I said, "No, show ain't. I would die doing that." Tell him how you did it.
So I decided, me and Porter were talking about it, and we were looking at the House of Dreams route. And he said, "Hey, it's right at 3 miles down from the House of Dreams back down to like the main road." He said, "Why don't you just run downhill the whole time?" I said, "Works for me. It's better than running, on the track." So that's what we did. Porter actually carried my pack up for me. So when I got up there, like on the way up, I'm just sipping on my pre-workout and stuff, getting amped up. So it was a good little warm up. And we got up top and strapped it on, and we went, man. We just fell downhill as fast as we could.
So you just did that one time?
Just one time, yeah.
And you nailed it.
Yeah, I decided that if anybody would have beaten me, I was going to do it again. But I didn't think that, unless somebody just came to Barry, and I think there was one guy in the challenge that mentioned coming, and I told him I would come out and carry his pack up for him if he wanted to do it, because I would have liked to see somebody else do it, and I would have ran it with him. But he didn't ever do it. Yeah,
that was another awesome thing too, that people were getting together and rucking with each other that were competing in it. I was able to ruck with Blake a few miles.
Yeah, I rucked with Juan some. Some of the guys, like 10 Man came out and crewed me at the Jewel. A lot of the guys kind of came together. It was super cool.
Tom come all the way down here from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I wrote the 60-mile week with him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool week. Tom came down. I spoke at a church here in Rome at a men's breakfast, and Tom came down just to be there. So it was super cool to walk in. I've never met this guy, and there he was sitting there, just to support me. He didn't know me that. So he showed up there, and then we were able to leave there, and we went like prayer walked with people and met some really cool people. So it was just a cool experience all around, man. It was great.
Yeah.
So 3 mile, that was good strategy on that. That's exactly where I would have done that too. That he took first on that, right?
Yeah, first that week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the closest was Tom with 8:43, I believe.
You say that's what you would have done until you started trying and you fell over and the 60-pound rucksack hit you in the back of the head.
That was my fear, that I was going to get to rolling down through there and fall.
Oh, a 60-pound ruck is stout.
No joke. 7:11 pace for 3 miles with 60 pounds, no matter how you do it, is probably about as fast as you can possibly do that.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't doing it. Nobody's doing it much.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
The thing, it bounced around a lot, just because I had so much weight stacked, because I was using an old pack. And I don't know, if I would have tightened it down better, I think we could have
shaved a few seconds off.
It just bounced so much, and I had to fix my straps constantly, every minute or so. So it was good.
So week 6 was most distance with 20 pounds, and I think everybody was ready for that.
Yeah.
That 20-pound week. Blake finished that week with number 4 with 98.2 miles. That was pretty much the week there that sealed Tom and you into 1 and 2.
Yeah, and that was the week. The Jewel was that weekend, so I knew then I wasn't going to post a lot of miles.
We moved on to week 7, which was the fastest 4-mile run back to the 50 pounds. Blake come in 5th with 9:37 pace there. The interesting thing about that is that once people seen that they could possibly get into the top 5, when they seen a lot of the people that maybe was holding back or didn't think they could even make it to the race, them jokers started moving, son. Yeah. I mean, they started putting in miles and there was Derek Rosen. Was he on your rock?
Yeah.
I bet he attempted that 4 times just to keep moving himself up. He really, after the rock course, he really turned it on that Ruck challenge. That was probably my favorite week there, was the fastest 4 mile with the 50. And this one, we did this. I put this in here for Chad because he wanted an 18-mile ruck. Week 8 was fastest 18-mile 30-pound.
That was the worst one.
That came
really.
Yeah. That coming off the jewel.
Yeah.
That came from SEAL qualification training. When we went out to land warfare for SEAL qualification training, the first thing that we did when we got to Nyland, which is where we did land warfare, is we did an 18-mile ruck. And I remember very vividly, it collapsed the arches in my feet. And I'm a good runner, man. But I limped around because the bottom of my feet were hurt so bad. I limped around for a week after that, doing, running IADs and patrol to contact drills out there in the desert. But I remember that ruck, and I'm so glad you guys added that to the challenge. That means so much to me because of all the things I've forgotten about my training. That dang 18-mile ruck in Nyland was something that I will never forget. Because it's a tough effort, especially when you go hard at it, because it's long enough that it's going to really hurt, but it's like the perfect distance. It's short enough that you're still like, I can go hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? If it was a 50 miler, then you would have to hold back and pace yourself. But
that was the week with the least amount of participation as well. 16 competitors did that week, and Blake placed second at 10:25 pace. That was my worst week. At mile 9, I was like, holy smokes.
You quit, and then you restarted again.
No, I didn't. Yeah, that was I placed 14th that week.
You mentally quit in the middle of it.
So talk to me about why was that the most difficult? Because that's interesting to me. Some of those previous weeks sound to me like they would have been more difficult, but you said that was the most difficult single effort.
Like I said, I think it's only because I ran the jewel 3 days before that.
Yeah.
So coming off that, my body just wasn't ready for that effort. Like I waited 4 or 5 days and ran it towards the end of the week. But I felt pretty good going out, but about halfway into it, I was like, I was not ready for this. Like I could tell my body didn't want to do it. Like my knees were hurting, like my IT band, like I could just tell. But at that point I was like, I'm not just going to run half of it. Stop. Like if I have to walk it, I'm going to do it. So I just did it anyways. But, and
ended up taking second.
Yeah.
It's a dang good effort. I think, I guess everyone's body is different, and depending on how much experience and time you have ultra running. But I think for a general rule, it takes about a month to fully recover from a 100-mile race. Yeah. If everything goes well, obviously, and you don't get any injuries, you don't twist your ankle, pull any muscles, anything like that, everything goes perfect. You run hard, a 100-mile race, which is the Georgia Jewel. Blake said he did the week prior to this 18-mile ruck. It takes about a month to be back 100% from an effort like that. So you're doing this 18-mile ruck literally 4 or 5 days after that effort. So you're nowhere near recovered.
No, I don't recommend that. Like this, that's not cool to do. Like if you run a 100-mile race, I don't encourage you to go out the next week and like try to put down some 18-mile run. I mean, it's silly. You need to take the time to recover. But I would say I didn't have a choice, but I had a choice, but I wasn't going to not compete. Yeah. It just wasn't going to happen.
So then we moved to week 9. And these 2 weeks here, the fight for number 4 and 5 was going on. And it was real interesting between Chris Wheat and Cass and a lot of those other guys trying to get into the race. And Cass, this was his biggest week. That joker really stepped up. Like I said, he didn't have any elevation where he lived. And this was most elevation for the week with 20 pounds. Cass real quick got number 4 with over 16,000 feet. Where he lives, that's a lot of time and a lot of miles.
Yeah.
Brandon Ranger, of course.
Should have climbed up that big tooth peanut.
He should have. Blake was recovering that week. He finished 14th with 2,093.
Yeah, I barely competed.
Yeah. So
What happened? Were you injured? Were you?
I just I knew at that point that I didn't really have to compete. You know, I mean, it was locked in, and nobody. This is the first time anybody's going to hear this, but Tom called me that week. Well, yeah, it was that week. Me and Tom talked on the phone, and we were like, you know, do we compete this week and take top points from guys when we don't have to?
Yeah.
Or like, is that selfish, or is that us being committed to what we signed up for? So there was like this internal battle that we had to talk through, and like, you know, what's the best thing to do? Like, we don't want to just lay down on these guys. Like, they still need to earn their spot because that's what we signed up to do. And me and Tom both committed to compete, you know, not to just give it to guys at the end. But at the same time, it's like, you know, there were a lot of guys, like Cornbread said, that were a few points away, and like the top five could have shifted easily. Mm-hmm. So if we didn't compete and that more points were available for guys, you know, like if I would have took first, there's a guy in there that needed those 10 points to barely make the top five. You know, so at what point is it selfish of you versus still holding everybody to competing?
Yeah. Well, and also part of competing is strategy.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take this into consideration. I get totally what you're saying. Mm-hmm. We're committed to this. We're going to make you know, there's this mindset that, you know, you're going to make your best effort every week, but ultimately that's not the best strategy for this.
No, because it's not.
Because if your position at the grand finale, the race, if your position in the top five is already secured, it is a much better strategy for you to do as little as possible in those final weeks, so that you are recovered and able to actually go hard at the championship.
Yeah. Because to be clear, the championship was the Ruck Challenge. This is all qualification.
This is qualification.
And you want to take it serious and give your best effort, like you're saying, but like that was clear from the front, is the races at the end. You know?
There's a lot of strategy in this, even just week to week, knowing the environment that you live in, what you have to work with, what you're good at. You know what I mean?
There was only a couple of weeks, like Cornbread said, that I actually won the first place spot.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't really need to.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So we moved to the last week, week 10, most distance in the week with 60 pounds. And Cash showed out again to make it into the 5th spot. He got 3rd with a little over 59 miles. Blake got 8 with 31.3 miles. And that wrapped the points challenge up for the 10 weeks. That week, too, a lot of people just said, hey, I ain't doing no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People that knew they wasn't even close. But that 18-mile week, a lot of people did not want any part of that joker.
Turd,
sort of surprised me, though. And this 60-mile most distance was also the first week that no one logged over 100 miles with the 60 miles. So Blake ended up finishing 2nd in points with 68. And he rucked a total of 504 miles during the challenge. And you had a 2-week rest before Mountain Mama Farms before the championship.
Yeah, so including week 9 and 10, I had about 4 weeks that I had planned to kind of taper off the Ruck Challenge those last 2 weeks. Take 2 weeks to get my legs back under me, and then come into Mountain Mama.
Yeah. What did you do during the recovery period? Did you still get out and put your ruck on so that you had the feel of it, or did you take them completely off and just relax?
I changed it completely. I ordered a different pack from what I'd done the whole 10 weeks. I had just an old Alice pack from the Marine Corps that we just bolted a barbell carry-on, and it was just rough and rugged. But I was like, this is not going to fit well for 40 miles at the Mountain Mama. So I ordered a pack, put my weights in there, taped them up, kind of put foam noodles. I just built my pack out. And then I tried it a few times just to make sure it was comfortable. And I had pouches, and I just was trying to pre-plan everything. But no, I didn't ruck a ton. Man, my legs were torched. I just didn't need to. Like I would walk with it some, but I ran one day with the new pack just to see how it felt, but nothing crazy. I took it pretty easy.
So then 4 competitors, 4 of the 5 showed up at Mountain Mama Farms Classic for an 8-hour, 40-pound ruck for the championship. And Blake won that as well.
Well, let's talk about that morning showing up for that. Like,
By a lot.
Where you obviously knew you had some insight onto who you were competing against because you've been able to see their numbers. You kind of know their strengths and weaknesses and all this. I mean, were you feeling nervous at all? Were you confident that you had it in the bag? Like, how were you feeling that morning?
Yeah. So
before the race started.
I mean, just to be truthful, I felt pretty good about it. That's the first race I showed up to where I mean, you can't know 100%, but I pretty much knew I was going to win that day.
That makes a huge difference.
I just knew it. I didn't picture it any other way. There was nothing in my mind that thought I don't win this thing. And my plan coming into it, and I may have mentioned this to Chili on the course, was I was planning to come out and lap everybody.
Yeah.
That was the plan. And then once I lapped them, I was just going to stay with them the rest of the race because I would always be a lap ahead. So that was the plan, and that's ultimately what ended up happening.
That's what happened, yeah.
But there was some downfalls of that too. I saw Chili a couple days later. I was kind of telling him about it. Going into the race, I was going to run 40 miles. I thought that's what I can do with the time I'm given and that weight on that course. And I thought if that's enough to win it, which I was pretty sure it was, I said, then so be it. But something shifted in me. Once I lapped them, it was right at the 21-mile mark. I was halfway through my time. So I was on pace to hit my 40 miles. But when I lapped them, it switched in my brain. Like I was satisfied. Like I stopped pushing because I didn't have to. So I got complacent and just got lazy, honestly. So I took it super easy the next 3.5 hours. And I regret that deeply. But, I mean, I did win, which I'm grateful for, and it was a great experience. But I let myself down more than I intended to. And as soon as I got in my truck to leave that race, it was eating at me. And I stopped 30 minutes early, which was just dumb. I finished my last lap, and it was like 7 hours and 30 minutes. And I knew I couldn't finish another lap, but I told myself before I started that I signed up to run 8 hours, and that's what I was going to do. But I got to that finish line, and guys were standing around, packs laying on the ground, and I thought, you know what, I'm kind of tired of wearing my pack too. I took it off, and I stood there for 30 minutes as the race ended and just watched people come in. And I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I would have went out and ran out of time on the course and then came in, even if it didn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that I just have to say this because that sounds so much like me. Like that sounds crazy to people, but I've finished races that I did well in. I kind of met my goal in a way, but I mean, I literally left pissed.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's good to hold yourself to that high of a standard. You know what I mean? That even if you win or meet your goal, if you feel like you didn't give your best, to not be happy with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you can take that too far.
Oh, yeah.
Have you found that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
certainly.
I mean, I don't know. It's like sometimes when you don't ever let yourself, or not let yourself, I can't explain it. I've seen some negative consequences of thinking that way. Like I don't know if you have too, but it's something you got to be careful of because you can't compromise your standard for yourself and just say, it's okay but you almost have to acknowledge you're human.
Yeah.
Like not and be okay with that, but it's like, man, if you win a bunch of races and you just leave just pissed, like,
yeah, I mean,
that doesn't, I don't know, man, I've done that too. And that hasn't produced anything good in me. You know what I mean? Or out of me, like being that way, it hasn't given me better results. I'm not sure the way you should look at that,
Well, look, man, I think we should acknowledge reality. The reality is you're not going to ever get your best effort out of yourself And the closest that you can get to getting your best effort is when you have someone there who is just as good as you.
Yeah.
That or a little bit better than you.
Yeah.
That's the one element that you can't plan for.
And even when you don't, I think you should strive for. I mean, you should hold yourself to this standard.
Yes,
but
the reality is you're not going. It's almost an impossibility for us to, because if someone was there that you were competing and they were right ahead of you, you're gonna do a little bit better than even you holding yourself to the standard of your best effort when you've already lapped everybody.
It's wild,
who's out there and who you're competing against.
Yeah, I mean, had Tom been on my heels or right in front of me the whole time, I would have ran 40 miles if that's what it took to beat him.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just like you said, it's hard to do.
Well, we have to acknowledge that.
You've seen it with the other three competitors. Even though they had been lapped, Jacob was trying his best to catch Tom.
Yeah.
And when they come in on their last, Jacob was right on his heels. Cass had a lot of ground to make up to catch Tom and Jacob. And by golly, he almost did it on his last lap. Mm-hmm. And his hamstrings was wearing him out. He pushed hard, dude. He sure did. He almost caught him. Yeah.
How many total miles did you get at Mount Mama?
Maybe 35.
35.
Yeah,
you finished 10 loops. I mean, that's wild to me that you think, well, not that you think, you showed you could have about got 40. That is, that's so ridiculous to me, man. Like, that's 5 miles an hour for 8 hours. Mm-hmm. With 40 pounds on a course that doesn't it's not a track either, you know? So, I mean, that's amazing.
Did that day go perfect for you? Did you have to work through any unforeseen issues or things with your body or nutrition or gear? Or?
I think just with some of the hills and stuff and the extra weight, like my quads were blowing up early on. And I still haven't figured out the nutrition side of it and salt and I'm still learning.
Really?
You use BPN stuff, right?
Yeah. So I've been using their stuff since I really started running. I used it at Shaw's Sloppy Floyd race back
They're
then.
partners here at 307 Project now, BPN.
Yeah, their stuff's great. I use all their stuff, so all the GM1 stuff. But as I've been figuring that out, I've gotten a lot better. But even that day, I could tell early on that my legs were cramping up or something, but I haven't really had in any race yet, I haven't had to the point of where my body's just failing me. It's been a nutritional thing that I was able to fix and remedy pretty quickly, like the salt being off or something. So, I mean, I bounced right back from that and figured it out. And,
sometimes you don't eat enough or take enough salt,
Yeah, I think I'm losing more.
And you don't have stomach issues, right?
No.
And you're blessed with that.
Well, I train, so I train with the stuff I eat. So I'll train with gels and GM1. I eat the same things weekly training that I do when I race. I don't change anything. But I'm getting ready to order one of the salt monitor things. Mm-hmm. So tell me how much I'm losing. So I'm going to use that before we go into this next race, so I'll know, so I can get a little more dialed in. So
with that 10-week qualification and the amount of effort that you guys put into that for that 10 weeks, it's setting you up for a serious performance on race day for sure, because you've worked through so much over the course of that 10 weeks. If you're doing well and then you're in that top 5 position, it's almost like a forced, intentional training block. The qualification period is, you know.
The thing that stressed me out the most wasn't until race day. So when I showed up to race day at Mount Mama, it might have been Chili or his wife. They were there were a lot of people that knew me and they were like, hey, we're expecting you to win. And that pressure, I hadn't felt that until that moment. I never showed up to race and people were expecting me to do well. Yeah. Usually I was kind of flying under the radar, and if I didn't do well, nobody cared. If I did, it was who's this guy? But on that day, people were expecting it out of me. Mm-hmm. So I was.
But you did too.
Yeah. I mean, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just showing up, we were standing around that campfire, and I'm talking to Porter, and there's people there at the fire talking about me and Tom, and they don't even realize that I'm standing at the fire with them. So there's just this pressure coming from everywhere. I'm I don't have a choice now. I'm going to win this thing. This is what's about to happen.
I also can't stress how important it is to know that you're going to win.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Well, I actually do know how you create that mindset. You create it through training. Like prior to a race, you create it during this qualification, 10-week qualification period. Like you forge that mindset during training. And it's only happened to me a few times over the course of my running career where I do show up on race day and I'm like, yeah, it's okay. We still gotta do the run, but this is already predetermined.
It's already decided. Yeah.
And that happens in training because if your training isn't right, you just, or you skipped something, or you didn't do something that you knew you should have done. Like it's just so hard, and very rarely are you ever going to win by just like a fluke. Like you just very rarely are you just going to happen to win.
Yeah, I like to create accountability like within my circle. So like I'll tell certain people like what my intentions are. So now I've said it out loud so they know like, hey, I do intend to win this thing. Like when I texted Jason or when I talked to my buddies, and even like some on social media with some of the guys, like during our runs and stuff, I would post them like, like I'm going to win this thing. Yeah. So like just telling them that was a big part of it too, because then, maybe they're going to start believing that too. And that does something. It's
wild how it works. It really is. And that's a part of it too. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, so for me personally, I think my best performance ever in my running career was when we made the film Just 1 Mile about my second run at the Mid-State Mile race. I truly believe it doesn't matter who would have been there that day, that I could not have lost. And it was because of my training, but it was also because I had done exactly what you had talked about. I had made the statement, yes, I will win this. No one can beat me at this. And it was all on camera too, by the way. So it was like people had receipts for me making that statement. And it does, man. It creates this environment where you're able to do something magnificent. Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. I think that that plays into it too. A lot of people have never experienced that before though, man. Yeah. A lot of runners, a lot of athletes, they've never experienced showing up to an actual competition with that sort of mindset. Yeah. I'm excited about this next one. It's going to be. Yeah. So what's your next Ruck challenge complete? You say you're not going to do that again. I don't know. I may. It depends. Just let me know when the sign up is. Dude, after talking about it, seriously, it makes me want to do it.
You don't want to do it.
After talking about it. There's no way I could have done it then because these guys farm me out like I'm just some sort of, no, you've got to do all this other stuff, right? So there's no way I could have done it. But maybe they'll let me take a little time off on the next one because it sounds so much fun, dude. It is. It's real fun. It sounds so much fun. Yeah, it was good. So what's the next thing for you? The race in March. Okay. Yeah, that'll be the next one. That's what we're leading up to. Yeah. So I don't think a lot of people have heard about this upcoming race in March because we have not began to promote it in a big way here on the channel or on the podcast. So it's a great time to introduce people to that. Talk about what's coming up in March, Chill.
Well, yeah, you've talked about the last man standings that you've done, Mid-State Mile and all that. And, that's a unique format, right? It's a 1 mile loop, that race, instead of the traditional backyard ultra that some people aren't even aware of. It's 4.16 miles every hour. And the thing with all the different variations, whether it's 1 mile every 20 minutes or 4 miles roughly every hour, or whatever it is, it's all just Laz Lake, the creator of the Barkley Marathons, that's who created that whole idea, right? And the point of it is to, the loop's not very hard at his race out in Tennessee. 4 miles that they go to a road at night to make it even a little bit easier. Like, it's supposed to see how far you can go, right? And we've seen that, you know, in the early days last about 3 days. And I mean, I remember looking at it being like, no one will ever go past
300.
Yeah.
It used to be 300.
Yeah, 300.
When I went to Biggs.
Yeah.
In 2018, I think. And that's what everybody. That was the thing. Like, nobody. Can anyone go for 300 miles? You could just that was in 2018.
Yeah. You could look at it physiologically, and if you're like, man, if people can figure this out, maybe you can even go 400, but never past that. Well, they've figured out sleep and everything. I mean, they go 5 days now. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
And I'm not knocking that format at all. I think it's amazing that he came up with that, and it's turned into what it has. Like, I'm not knocking that at all, but we wanted to create something different that kind of plays on that same style. And we could have done it a bunch of different ways, but that hour format, that hour loop, roughly 4 miles, is really cool. And it's just kind of structured already right on the hour. But we wanted to reward running fast and being able to run fast when fatigued. There's nothing really that does that I'm aware of that kind of rewards you being able to run fast late. So the way this race will work is you'll have an hour for the first loop. Second loop, you'll have 59 minutes. Third loop, 58 minutes, and so on. And that definitely creates a much quicker endpoint, right? Like, you're not going to go 3 days when you'd have to run 4 miles in 10 minutes or whatever. So you can kind of know it's not going to go past, I don't know, what's even possible. You know, it would never go 2 days, right? But, like, how far can it go? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the potential that it just gets really hard for people 12 hours in, like that 48-hour look, you know, but I think it could go over a day for sure. And that would be really cool to see. I mean, you know, not that it's boring, the last man standing races, but there's not an exciting finish always, right? It's just kind of like, okay, this guy quit, go do your other loop. It's still an hour. Just, this is going to create at least the chance for, you know, you're 20 hours deep and people are running.
Yeah.
And like every loop is a sprint to the finish, you know, to see if people can make it. And even people, a lot of times it's sprinting to the finish to see if they can make the loop. This is going to be people with each other.
Yeah.
You know, 20 hours in, like, they're both on each other's heels. I mean, I think with the right, you know, field, hopefully we can get a big field of competitive runners. You know, it'll be super exciting, unlike any other race, really. And I think, I mean, this would appeal to me to run for sure.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah, me too.
Because like, I think I don't think we're going to compete in it, but maybe we will one day. I don't know. But, like, it excites me, the thought of, man, how far could I go with the time cutting down? Like that, man. So I don't know. I hope it appeals to other people. I think it appeals to you. I mean, why does it appeal to you? Because I think it should appeal to you because I think you're going to be good at it.
Yeah. But I like the format. Just looking at it and laying it out the way I have so far is, I think that it's not going to be until about 20 loops in that you start to see that you're going to have to run
me too.
hard.
Yep.
I'm not going to say you can take it easy for 20 laps, but
no,
you know what I'm saying? It's relatively easy to run 4 miles in an hour, even 40 minutes, 50 minutes. So I think at about 20 loops is when it's going to start. That's when the race starts.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it will get to where you've got to plan how much rest do you need or do you want, and like, what do you have to do? I'm not like a super fast guy, but I can run fast late if I need to.
Yep.
So I think that'll play well, and I just have to be very patient. My plan is just to kind of put my ego away going into it and say, look, it doesn't matter how I look the first 20 hours.
Yeah.
It's all about, you know, just like that 10 weeks. I didn't have to win the first 10 weeks. I just needed to win at Mount Mama. Mm-hmm. So that's the strategy here too. And
I think one reason I think it's cool too is, even more so than the regular last man standing, this is going to frustrate a lot of good runners. Like, a lot of really good runners who you think could win are going to get out way earlier than you expect, or 20 hours, because if you have a low 20 hours in and now it's 40 minutes a loop, well, you may not make that.
Yeah.
Even though you may still be ready to go another 20 hours, but you know how ultra running is, man. You have highs and lows. So this is going to make it where a low, you're not just going to be able to keep slogging out hour-long loops and come out of it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to run. So that will make it really hard. Like, you're going to have a really good, consistent day, starting after the first few hours. You're not going to be able to have a low,
Yeah.
So who knows how it'll turn out? I mean, I think that's going to be a lot of races are pretty predictable. Like, we thought you were going to win the Mountain Mama, right?
Yeah.
We knew the 8-hour run at Mountain Mama was going to be Michael and Blake going back and forth. You know what I mean? So this, I don't know who knows, man.
Well, we named this new race. We named it after one of our long-standing mantras here at 307 Project, Don't Die in the Chair. Again, it's a last man standing format. We'll attach a link in the description of this episode if you want to register, because registration is open. Okay, it's in the chat. The Don't Die in the Chair was a mantra that was really, I developed after my first last man standing race, because it is tempting when you come in off these loops, especially late in a race. You come in, you sit down in your chair, and it is hard to get back up out of that chair and go out for another loop, especially when you got something going on and you might not make it, and it gets real hard, which with this race, it's going to be even more hard. And it's going to be more tempting to stay in that chair, especially late in the race, because you're like, I don't know if I can run this loop in a half an hour. You know what I mean? So I just don't even think that's possible anymore. So I'm just gonna call it a day, right?
Yeah.
So I think the mantra fits well with the format. To me, this particular race, it's actually bringing it's bringing something back that I think we've lost in the ultra running community or the ultra running sport. As ultra running has grown and it's no longer just a niche thing, and the masses are getting more involved in these long distance races, we've really lost the running part of ultra running in a sense. Now, I'm not talking about at the front of the pack. I'm just talking about the majority of the field at most of these long ultras that you go to. People have gotten in this mindset that because these races are long, we're just going to hike most of it, right? We're just going to hike most of it. Well, this isn't ultra hiking. This isn't ultra. Look, that's the rite of passage. All right, It's not the sport. It's not ultra hiking. The sport is ultra running. So we're making the running component of ultra running a necessary part of this race. Okay, you are going to have to be able to run this loop, not shuffle. At some point, if you're going to be competitive here, you're going to have to be able to run this loop. I love that. Another thing that I think this race does is, again, you've got a good handful of athletes who have figured out this last man, the traditional last man standing format, because it has been going on long enough that now they've gotten it down to a science. But what most of you guys don't know is that these athletes who are competitive now in the last man standing format, they go from the finish line of the race to the hospital almost every single time. They leave the race, and if they win or they get in some of the top spots, they're leaving there and they're going straight to the freaking hospital with some serious crap wrong with them.
Yeah.
Okay? So what that's created is an environment where if you want to run an established last man standing race, you have to be in a position in your life where you are willing to do something that is indeed going to put you into the dang hospital when you finish it up, right? And that's cool. If that's what you do, then that's what you do, man. But some of us have other responsibilities, or we're at a point in our life where we really we're not able to be competitive because you have children, you have a family, and you can't necessarily die to go out and win this race, right?
Be inconvenient.
Yeah, it would be pretty inconvenient, right? A few years ago, I was totally fine with that, right? That was my mindset. So this is really creating an environment where you have to be a runner, you have to run, but also you can be assured it's going to be extremely difficult, but in a unique way. The difficulty is going to be totally different than a 500-mile slog, and it's not because of the nature of the format or the design of the format. It's not going to be a race that's going to put you out of running for the next 2 or 3 months. Just put you slap out of commission, right? And I was actually talking to Sam Harvey the other day just to kind of button up this thing that I've thought quite a lot about. Sam Harvey is one of the best last man standing competitors in the world right now. He's from New Zealand, and that's his favorite format. But he said, "Look, man, I can't run one of these last man standing races anymore unless there's like a world title on the line, because I know I'm going to have to go so far to win." And so he's now only able to race, once a year. And, that's what he does. That's his lane, but he knows what it's going to do to him to actually win. So I just really like that it's brought the running back in, and it's just consolidated things, and it's a totally new, unique thing that, and it's at an awesome place too, man. It's on a 5,000-acre private farm. The trail is unbelievable, dude. Mm-hmm. The trail is just awesome. The location, the environment, everything is just set up amazing. And it's going to be big, dude. It's going to be real big.
Yeah, well, I hope so. It depends, man.
So if
people slouch, it won't be big. I want some competitors, come out. I mean, we got Blake Hughes coming, you're coming. I mean, it's shaping up.
Yeah, I mean, you really you need 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
To really make it interesting. I mean, how are you specifically training for this? Because it has 2 components. It has endurance and speed. So it's a little bit more complex to train for.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my mind, I have I don't think I need to be able to run a 6-minute mile that late in the game. I just don't think it's going to happen. It could, but I don't think it will. So I think that you can be a little slower and it's okay, but what is slow at that time? But after Mount Mama, I took a step back because for the year, I raced every month. It seemed like the Cruel Jewel, the Georgia Jewel, Mount Mama. I was doing something all year. So I just took a beating, and I was new to running. So I didn't know, like I was telling you earlier, about building a foundation, like my hips. So right after Mount Mama, I started working with Levi over at Shift. So now I go to him every other week and mobility stuff and strength and balance. And so I've done that for the last 6 to 8 weeks since Mount Mama. So I'm just now getting back into stacking miles up. So I'm in the second part of the block for this race, but I'm really just going to train kind of just how I'm going to race. At some point I'll do simulated race days. I may run 5 or 10 4.2 loops on the hour every hour just to get that feel. And I'll run the same one, just kind of get that monotony of the same loop, because that's another thing when you're out there, you keep running that same circle and your mind can start to you just got to be used to running. It's like going around that track 100 times in the morning. It takes a long time to do 30 miles on a track, and it gets daunting. But I think that mentally prepares you too for just that. It's fine. It's fine. Just keep running that same circle. So it's going to be fun. There's 2 ways for me that day to win. It's obviously to win, to be the last man standing. That'd be awesome. But my goal, if I can't do that, would be just to go until I cannot go. If I have to crawl that last lap, even if I don't think I can get it, I'm gonna full send it and try to get it. I mean, I would leave there happy, even if I got 10th. knowing that I left it out there that time. Like I could finally push to see what I'm made of.
I saw Chili bear crawl a lap one time on a last man standing race. He's never been able to beat me. Another thing about this particular race is one thing that I like is that the actual course is on private property, so no one can go out and run the loop and prepare in that way prior to the race. So even if you're local, you don't really have access to the loop. You would have to know certain people and stuff like that. But I like that because some of the other races, when we used to do races out of Sloppy Floyd, local guys could go out and train on the loop, which gives them a significant advantage. Same with the Georgia Jewel. If you live around here, you have a significant advantage to be able to train on that course and know where all the turns are ahead of time and not have to stay so mentally locked on. But with this, everybody coming from all over the country, wherever they are, this will be the first time anyone's ever seen the loop, and it's going to be new for everyone. They're not going to know what to expect. I don't even know how much elevation gain is on the loop. We got to go out and track it. I don't know that we'll announce that or not, but
I wouldn't, if I could train on that loop and I was doing this race, I wouldn't, because you're going to be so used to it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even do it.
Well, yeah.
You're going to learn it the first few laps.
Yeah. By dark,
staying off of this thing.
By dark, you're going to probably be halfway tired of it. So, well, that's awesome, man. When in March that is, Chill?
28th.
28th.
28th, so end of March.
Yeah.
Very end of March. So there's still plenty of time to train if you guys want to get in on this. Outstanding. Well, we covered a lot of ground, dude. I enjoyed so much hearing what went down at the Ruck Challenge because I'm just getting little snippets along the way, and I wasn't able to be there at the actual race. So it was really cool for me to get to hear that firsthand, what was challenging, how you worked through that, and to hear your testimony. And Lord willing, I'm going to get to be out there with you and whoever else shows up to the Don't Die in the Chair Last Man Standing race in March and get to see you guys firsthand do your thing and encourage you guys and push you guys and that's gonna be a fun day, man.
Yeah.
So
Tech wants to know if you want to do super chats.
Yeah, we'll do super chats.
The tech room.
Yeah, guy.
Oh, Blake Wright, how's your neck?
Here, I don't know how to do these, Chili.
You don't know how to read? Let's see. From Frog, that's got to be Tom. PHROG?
Yeah.
That's Tom,
Yeah, that's
Brandon.
him.
He always wanted to be a Navy SEAL, but he ended up being a sorry Marine.
Tom Brandon, $40 super chat. Good Lord, Tom. Blake Alvey is the real deal. I agree. True champion for God's kingdom. I love that guy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Harvest McCullough.
Hold on, is Tom doing our Last Man Standing race?
He's not signed up
He's
yet.
not signed up. That's sorry, ain't it?
Tom, what's up, dude? Where you at, Tom?
Oh, man. Harvest McCullough. Do you know him?
Yeah, I know Harvest.
Who was he?
A guy running two pole racing.
Oh, okay. $20 super chat. I didn't know he listened.
Dang, he's got some money now.
This super chat sponsored by Chocolate Milk.
There you go.
Get you a jerk.
Selling them drugs around Dallas, man.
That's right.
He said,
Get that coin.
so cool to hear Blake's testimony. Truly an inspiration. God bless you all.
Thank you, Harvest.
Appreciate it.
That doesn't sound like a drug dealer.
He's changed, man.
What does that mean, sponsored by Chocolate Milk? Get you a jerk.
See, that sounds like a drug dealer. But the second part didn't.
Anyway, Jimbo Jobs 2819 with $1.99 says, NC Gill Netter here. We listen while we fish. Thanks.
Outstanding.
North Carolina gill netter.
Thank you, guy.
Oh, man. Tom Brandon again with $20 super chat. Blake, I knew going in you were going to win also. Proud to have competed with you. Well,
This is like one of the few times that our live audience has gotten an interview episode. They're usually posted later on. So
Yeah.
That's true. Jekarat with a $4.99 super chat said, I'm not going to read it. It's about no, I have to. It's that last month, the 59-year-old grandmother got the women's world record for the most push-ups.
That guy paid $4.99. He pays $4.99 to say that week after week, huh?
Yeah, it's retarded.
Thank you, Jack.
It didn't happen. Anyway, is that all? All right, that's all, says Tech. Well, thank you guys for the super chats, and thank you, Harvest McCullough, for
Harvest, straighten your life out, guy. It's ridiculous to be out there selling drugs to people, kids and stuff. We've got a future youth minister on the podcast today.
Yeah, really.
Good gosh.
current 2 days.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not current, Chili. It'll be current in 2
it's
days.
official.
Not ordained yet.
Okay, well, that's
Current in 2 days, guy. All right, Blake, thanks again, brother, for taking time out of your day. We'll see you guys in, I guess, Monday, Lord willing. And we'll have Blake back on after he wins the last man standing race in March.
Yeah, let's
talk about what goes down there. So
Hope this ages well.
love you guys. Enough said.